Okay, so Starfield's recently come out, right? And because Starfield's come out, we got this guy posted something. It's got 6.7k updates. 6.7 updates. That's nuts. So let's see what this guy has to say. Starfield feels like Mass Effect 1 without good writing. Specifically Mass Effect 1. That's what gets me. Is that he says it feels like Mass Effect 1 without good writing. A long-time Bethesda fan that came into Starfield having just watched the trailers. I got... Oh, undo that. I didn't realize S would save. I was too busy playing Baldur's Gate, so like I immediately wanted to like WASD to move the map around. I got early access and have been playing nonstop since I took work off for positives. The soundtrack, interior design, and asset art is incredible. I've seen some of the gameplay. I agree with this. The game does look beautiful. I feel, however, that Starfield hasn't learned from past Bethesda mistakes. What are those? What is he referring to as past Bethesda mistakes? If I were to assume, past Bethesda mistakes would be Fallout 76. Multiplayer was just basically... I mean, it was there, but like there's no meat to the game itself, right? And then bugs, just releasing unfinished games. That's what I would think of the mistakes. And I started seeing comparisons with the issues I experienced playing Mass Effect 1 without finding any of the good parts besides the aesthetics. Some highlights. Bills itself as space exploration game. Does it? I don't know about that. Does it bill itself as a space exploration game? I've never got the idea that it was space exploration. What am I looking for? Starfield. Starfield. Oh, no. View page. Starfield. I guess space exploration wouldn't be like a name. Oh, I thought... Why did I think... Blood, violence, suggestive use of drugs... Why did I think this was a, this would tell me what it was about this game? Starfield, awarded beyond settling and lives as a spacefaring people. You'll join Constellation, the last group of space explorers seeking rare artifacts throughout the galaxy, navigate the vast expanse of space and Bethesda Game Studio with the biggest and most ambitious game. You know, it's kind of saying that, navigate the vast expanse of space, but it's not saying you, like, it's a space exploration. Starfield is most important storytelling with your character. Start your journey by customizing your appearance. Deciding your background traits to experience entirely. Choice is yours. Explore outer space. Venture through stars and explore more than 1,000... Okay, there it is. So he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I do have a problem with this because during what I'll say E3, for lack of better words, basically when they were showcasing the game, they showed us the exploration part of the game, but there wasn't really... It was bare bones. They themselves told us most of the content is going to be on the worlds that they created. So sure, yeah, you can explore over 1,000 worlds, but most of the game's going to be in one spot. But you don't land or take off from planets. Everything is driven by clicking a button UI, which I find so like Mass Effect 2 when you would just like send the drones in. A huge letdown. Ever since everything else is just moving around empty pockets of space, you will be spending a ton of your time in the map UI. There's really cool spaceship building game, but you're building a spaceship that doesn't let you go where you want or matter outside of shooting minigame. So when they first unveiled the game, my biggest disappointment in the game. So the second time they unveiled the game, I saw the gameplay. It looked fun. It looked like something I want to be a part of. I wanted to take a part of. But then the first time they showed the game, and I saw that it wasn't gonna be like Elite Dangerous. I saw that it wasn't gonna be like Star Citizen, because I thought it would be a more compacted Star Citizen. I would have been 100% okay if there was just 12 planets. I would be okay if there was just 6 planets. All right? If there are 5 planets that were well crafted, well engineered, and we just got to explore between the 5 of those planets, I would have been 100% okay with that. I thought it would be like Star Citizen, but more condensed. And in a way, it is. And there are probably 5 planets to explore on top of a bunch of thousands of other planets that can be explored, but have like bare bones systems. What I don't like about the trend open world games do, which I think that's kind of started with Bethesda, that started with freaking Skyrim, is that Skyrim's a fantastic game. It's a beautiful game that I love. But when other people started copying Skyrim, they didn't know how to use space. They basically thought, look how big our world is, but they didn't care about the content that like flooded the space that they were emptying. So I don't care how big your map is. If I have nothing to do on the map but walk from point A to point B, then it's a waste of space. It's a waste of time. You're just advertising the idea that, oh, our game is big, so you'll have a lot of time to play it. Bethesda still hasn't learned how to make a compelling gun gameplay. I don't doubt that. I think Bethesda's gameplay has always kind of felt clunky, even in like Fallout. Like, you know, you use VATS more than anything else. When I think of a shooter RPG game, I tend to not think about Bethesda. I really am not the biggest fan of the Bethesda combat. It's very, I don't know, choppy. The combat is serviceable, but the guns feel flat, and the enemy AI is constantly making terrible choices, like staring at me for 5 seconds before firing, running random directions. It feels like their technology hasn't advanced since Fallout 4. If you didn't like Fallout 4's combat, you certainly won't like Starfield. I figured it would just be Fallout 4 in space. That's what I figured Starfield would be. With space exploration being confined to roaming around small empty spaces with some planet backdrops. That's pretty nice. You would hope that ground exploration would make up for it. But alas, you are severely limited in mobility options without vehicles. Ooh. We don't get a horse? We got horse armor in Oblivion. You telling me I don't get a horse in this game? I don't get a little buggy car a little NASA buggy car that I can ride around in? That I'm disappointed in. They should put like a little NASA, they should put a mount in the game. I guess they have jetpacks. And most of the planets are barren wastelands, but not the fun Fallout kind. It feels like going on Mako missions, but without the speed of the Mako. Oh yeah, I forgot about Mako missions in Mass Effect 1. That's right. I'm glad they got rid of those. I did not like them. I mean, it was cool to fight the space worms, but I'm glad they got rid of them. The biggest issue, the issue that really makes everything else hard to ignore, is that the writing emotional depth isn't there. Everything is about generic as you can make it. From the MacGuffin they thrust onto you in the first 10 minutes of the game, to the side quests where you'll be tracking down an endless supply of data chits. Okay. And generic bad guys. Part of the issue is that the body animations are really bad. Everyone feels very static, which is another problem that Bethesda seems to have not fixed from the previous game. I think everything... I'm going to just say it. I'm going to say it. And you guys probably aren't going to like what I'm about to say, but I think everything this guy is saying is kind of valid. Like, I genuinely feel like the issues that he's talking about are just Bethesda issues, kind of like what he was saying. These are because I was watching people play Starfield, right? I'd be playing it right now, but I'm not about to spend $100 to play that game. I'll wait till it comes out on Game Pass. But I was watching people play Starfield, and I was like, man. Like, at the time when Skyrim and Oblivion came out, this, like, it was huge. It was awesome seeing this type of gameplay. But after playing Baldur's Gate for so much and seeing how they, like, I guess they mocap Baldur's Gate or something like that, and watching all the animations and the facial animations and stuff with Baldur's Gate, and then you go and you look at You look at freaking Starfield, and it looks like Mass Effect Andromeda, where they're like, "My face is tired. I'm sorry." It's not that bad, but you get like the comparison. So, I mean, I understand this guy's complaints. I understand it's valid. I will say this. After seeing the gameplay that they showed us, this is what I was expecting. You know, my expectations weren't out the window. I wasn't thinking this was going to be the next biggest thing since Skyrim. I didn't think it would be better than Skyrim. I'm not going to lie. I think it would be, at best, on par with Skyrim. And that's just from what they showed us, because nothing they showed us looked crazy new or innovative or right. Whereas Skyrim, I mean, the guy walked, like just watching how the guy walked was such a big deal, right? And then the dragons, and then this the decisions you had to make with the world, and there's so much to that. Also, with that being said, even though I am expecting this, it also makes me kind of disappointed. I can see where the disappointment is, because whenever we go from Oblivion to Skyrim, even though I personally think Oblivion had a better story, Skyrim all round is more fun to play. I enjoyed the writing more in Oblivion, with the side missions and the people you run into and the quests that you have to go on. And Skyrim almost felt like it was copying a lot of what Oblivion had to offer. But who knows? Maybe Oblivion was copying the game before that. I don't know. I never played it. So I will say it does make me worried for Elder Scrolls 6. So, but we'll see how that goes off. When thinking big title sci-fi games, Mass Effect 1 gave you clunkiness and railroad exploration, but it made up for it with an interesting world and characters. True. That made you want to learn more. Starfield gives you clunkiness, railroad exploration, but it gives you no motivation to keep going. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen the writing for the game. I haven't experienced it myself. Is this subjective in a way? But like, I think like you can look at stories and be objective about it. How something can be written, how something can compel you, and does it do a good job at compelling you? So I'll have to try it out and see for myself. I do think he has a point to be made with the exploration and stuff like that, right? But if the writing does suck, that's where I thought we were gonna get some, like, the meat of the game was gonna be through the character interactions, through the companions that you can make and fall in love with. But now that I think about it, I mean, it's not like I've never experienced, when I've played any Bethesda game, so Fallout, Elder Scrolls, I've never experienced the same type of like compelling attachment to characters like I did when I would play Mass Effect, Dragon Age, or Baldur's Gate, right? I think their writing is very, I guess how this guy put it, generic. So he does have a point, but it sounds like he's complaining that Bethesda's Bethesda. Right? Like, Bethesda's Bethesda. Like, I think Bethesda does a lot of things that are good, but it doesn't really do anything that is great, other than creating an open world. People are going to hate for what I just said there. I think they are great at creating open worlds. And like, you take the open world and then you take all the good, and there's nothing wrong with it. Like if you are good at everything you do, then you have a good game. And that's why people revere them so much. And it's, you know, not everyone wants to play a turn-based game like Baldur's Gate, but the story can be captivating. I know a lot of people that don't care about the story either. They just want to blow stuff up in Call of Duty. Starfield gives you but no motivation to keep you going. It also something paradox, a huge game that severely limits your freedom of exploration and hasn't pushed any boundaries. In fact, has regressed in some ways from the most comparable game to No Man's Sky. I never thought, after they showcased the game, I never thought it was going to be like No Man's Sky. I never expected it to be like No Man's Sky. And I think having those expectations may make everything else feel like more of a disappointment. I don't think the game is awful, but it really doesn't deserve a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. Well, I'll be the judge of that. I think people are either giving in to Bethesda or judging the game by form over substance. Okay. There was a lot of tedium. I'm going to say tedium in this game. What does that word mean? The state of being tedious. Okay. I learned a new word today. In this game, and I hate that. I hate when games are tedious. So because Baldur's Gate has a lot for you to do, but none of it feels tedious. All of it has purpose. And if you skip it, you're not ever hurting yourself. And that's what's beautiful about Baldur's Gate. Whereas in Elder Scrolls games, you can definitely skip a lot of the content and it won't hurt you. But a lot of the content, a massive amount of the content that they put in the game has a problem where it can feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again. And that's what worries me. Like, it feels like I did this, but it doesn't contribute to anything, right? Whereas like where you play like Tears of the Kingdom, it is tedious, but everything you do gives you something back in return. Like there's never, it is very repetitive, but you are always being rewarded for that repetition. Whether it be in getting hearts, more stamina, extra items, or crafting a story with these characters. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. We'll be left wondering where the fun is even after 10 plus hours. It's not for everyone, but it may be worth the play just to see the set pieces. I don't think every game is for everyone, except for Baldur's Gate. Let's see what they have to say here. So a lot of people like what this guy had to say. If you enjoyed Fallout and Elder Scrolls, will you enjoy this one? That's all I really need to know. I think that's true. I think, like, if you're a fan of... It sounds like all his complaints are just Bethesda. If you're a fan of Bethesda, you're going to like this game. If you're not a fan of Bethesda, what do you know? You're not going to like this game. I went in with low expectation, and it's been fun. Lots to do, but I'm not nearly as captivated as Fallout, and I don't know what TES stands for. Just TES. I don't know. Just because those have so much established lore already. What the fuck is TES? TES game? The Elder Scrolls. Oh my god. Oh, fuck, dude. How did I not catch that? Let's see what else other people have to say. I just found a legendary rifle that gives double damage on uninjured enemies. That's good that's actually really good. Pair that with a sneak attack, and combat is now one-hit kills. It broke my game, and now a Skyrim stealth bow sniper again. For fuck's sake. You not only played yourself, you spent an extra $35 to do it 5 days early. It's fucking expensive, dude. It sounds better than what I expected, but overhyped, which I kind of considered. I don't know how this game got overhyped. The gameplay did not look that great to me. There was nothing new from what I saw in the gameplay, other than everybody has jetpacks. It looked like Fallout with jetpacks, which sounds really cool. This does sound really cool, but I don't know. I don't know about Mass Effect 1 comparison. Mass Effect is extremely different from what Bethesda does. Just go in expecting Fallout in space and you'll have a good time. I agree with the second part of this. I think before, the guy's argument was just that Mass Effect lacked in some departments, but made up for it by being really good at other things. So it lacked in gameplay and exploration, but it made up for it by giving you really compelling stories and space sex. You got to have a lot of space sex in Mass Effect. Whereas in this Bethesda game, there's not really anything that's being made up for the lack of everything that's in it. That was his argument. It's actually not a space exploration game. It's an action RPG that happens to be set in space. True. I mean, I agree. I agree 100%. If you were going into this game with the expectation that you were going to get Star Citizen, you will be severely disappointed. But all right, we'll see. This week we're going to be playing I almost said Star Citizen. Starfield. We're going to be playing Starfield this week, and I can't wait to do it with you guys.